Gawx art.
Mood boards, illustration, film, interior design.
Wow, what does that say about Gawx art?
We can move forward to the next step.
A true artist at heart and a real creative in this space. Actually, scratch that. A real original creative in this space.
Left to go, but I need some paint water.
Someone you can literally see how they've developed over the years, but at the same time, their style is consistent.
I discovered what I would like my final design.
But you know what that means, folks? Today we're covering an inward-looking creator. Someone who creates based on what they like to make. And so today we're going to be breaking down Gawx art, my childhood dream came true. Making my childhood dream come true, sorry. Okay, let's dive in.
2009, the year in which I created my first ever custom t-shirt. Perfect? Maybe not, but it was the start of something I never imagined. 2017, I started.
Okay, so this opening introduction to the video is really nicely structured. He's done it in a way that I really like to do in my videos too. He's structured it around the music. Structure. Okay, so this drum track. We love a drum track, don't we, folks? This drum track is actually from MusicBed, but I don't have a subscription with MusicBed at the moment, so I don't have a link. But I do have a referral link for Upbeat, which does have some cool drum tracks in it. Well, they're more beats, actually, but what am I doing? Okay, so let's look at how this is broken up. You can hear in the drum track that it's kind of broken up into 4 different sections. And Gawx uses these for his narrative. Like in the very first section, he introduces the idea of clothing design.
I created my first ever custom t-shirt.
It's 2009, crash.
2009, the year.
To the year
2017,
crash.
I started drawing.
A similar thing here.
2020, my first.
And a similar thing here.
2023, the year everything.
It's how this intro is structured. One way of thinking about it is like this like anticipation line. So Gawx is using this little gap in anticipation in the drum track to introduce the date for that section.
But it was
so
the
we have a
start
little
of
build,
something I never imagined.
and then a pause.
2017,
crash.
I started drawing more frequently
Anticipation
and
drops.
created my first ever t-shirt release. Of course, it wasn't a commercial hit,
we let it build
but
again.
seeing my friends and family wear it made me very happy.
Pause. 2020. Crash.
My first global clothing.
And that's like our kind of format for this intro. Now, you're probably wondering, Sam, how the fuck does Gawx know what to shoot if he doesn't know what music track he's using in the edit? Great question. Well, he probably does know what track he's going to use in the edit. See, Gawx strikes me as the kind of guy who sees the timeline much like the canvas on one of his paintings. There is no shoot and then we edit. It's a constant like merge. I think it's more likely that he found this drum track really early on, put it in the timeline, and then thought about what story he wants to tell, and therefore what shots he needs to get that's gonna fit with this drum track. Obviously there's a little bit of music theory that you need to know in order to probably move some of the drum track around and that kind of thing, but I cover that on Fired Up. It is something that I really value in a creator when you can make the feeling of music and the visual feel like one. Because video is both a visual and audio experience, as much as Instagram captions won't let you believe it. It is, you know, audio is important, and Gawx has valued it here, and you can feel that when you watch it. I do cover a lot of music theory on Fired Up, which you can check out if you like. Woo! Okay, so let's talk about some of these shots.
I created my first ever custom.
This actually isn't a crop in. This is actually another take at a longer focal length. You can see because his hands are in different positions. I like this because so much of video content is showing the viewer exactly what you want them to see and making sure that message is clear. Great videos is really just about eye movement around the screen and just like what the fuck to look at. And here, Gawx is like, bam, this is what I want you to see. Got a nice bit of motion blur there as well to blend the two together. I like that. Remember that 1/50th shutter speed if you're shooting 25 frames a second. That's actually another thing we cover on Fired Up. Dave? Woo!
But it was the start of something I never imagined.
What visuals do you think we would want to see here? Oh, I don't know, how about maybe a glimpse into that start? Voice, the music, the visual is one. Okay, so you can see here how there's no perspective changes on like the plant in the background. That tells me that these are a bunch of photos that Gawx is scaling up. Does that matter? No. The focus is on the t-shirts, like it should be. Filmmaking is decision making. Step 1. Gawx hears the drum roll and visualizes a shot where t-shirts are flicking between each other. Step 2. How does one actually achieve that? Well, you could move the camera downwards with your hands, but how are you going to get that repeatable motion for each t-shirt? You'll never get it the same handheld. Maybe you could use some kind of jib, swingy thing, or maybe a robotic arm. No, it's too complicated. So what do? You sacrifice that you can't have perspective change on the surrounding elements, and you do it as a fixed shot on a tripod. You take pictures because it gives you more res to work with for a zoom in, which is actually probably better anyway, because maybe as a viewer, you don't want to be distracted with perspective changes on the outside of frame. Step 3, you shoot it. See, filmmaking can be such a head fuck, but what happens is the more you do it, the more experience you gain, and the quicker that process that I just went through happens, until you get to a point where all that happens in your head within a few seconds. We are currently 10 minutes into a 7-minute video. Shit. I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsor for this video, firedup. firedup is a 3-week program designed to put the you back in you. YouTube has become a place where it makes you think your sole purpose is to get as much attention as possible, by any means necessary. Like this new trend of just holding bigger and bigger items. What is that? It's kind of funny though. YouTube, in my perspective, actually is about posting your stories out into the world. Sharing your experiences because they actually mean something to you, and not just because you think other people will watch it. So that's why I made firedup, to try and help you with that. And if you're enjoying this video, there's loads more breakdown stuff on there. And you can check out more information on the link below. And also, there's a new cohort starting on January 6th, and enrollment for that opens today. From right now, you can join the cohort and start next year with a solid direction for 2025. So you can come on over and join us at firedup, the fastest growing community on YouTube.
I started drawing more frequently.
Okay, so here we actually do have a small movement inwards. Probably on a dolly or that like skateboard C-stand thing that Gawx has talked about.
One shot, and then I use 2 skateboards.
No, you have your C-stand on skateboards.
Yeah.
Or you could just use your hands. Yeah, it could be with his hands. No, it looks too straight. I don't know. Wait, how many frames is it? Fuck, it's impossible to say. But yeah, generally with a dolly, like any motion this way is much easier than motion that way, because you have gravity on your side.
17. I started.
Another thing I noticed, there's like a little cry or like a little like whine or something, kind of like meh, you know.
17. I started
Audio and visual combining. I feel like I do that a lot.
frequently and created my first ever.
This transition with the book, lovely.
2017. I started drawing more frequently and created my first ever t-shirt release.
In 2017, I started drawing more frequently and I created my first t-shirt release. You see how the visuals match what he's saying? I know it seems obvious, but I'm trying to point these things out so that you can do it.
But seeing my friends and family wear it made me very happy. 2020.
The clarinet touch with the like nice calming sound. Is it a clarinet? I think so. Or oboe or something? But yeah, it's calming and it's quite a nice like break from the drums. But it still links to the story because of the t-shirt. So I assume this is like a family member. Makes sense with the story.
How they turned out. I still wear them quite often. 2023.
Okay, so this shot is mounted behind it. Quite a setup actually. Like this is a crap way of doing it, but I don't know actually, like his looks really stable. I don't know if he's like on something. Kind of looks a bit like he's on some sort of like little bike or tricycle, you know what I mean? It could be another way of doing it. It might be like that the camera's attached to something on the floor and it's like he sat there, I don't know. God, I'm not on today, am I? I'm not sure how things are done. But I can see why this shot makes sense here because of the graphic on the back of his t-shirt. You know, the shot fits the purpose of the narrative. See, shots make sense. Equipment serves a purpose. It's a tool to get to where you visualize the shot going. I did a tiny creative about that. Also, we're gonna need a camera op to walk with us as I move down the corridor.
Evolved, my first ever clothing collection. An absolute dream project.
Oh, I really like these projector shots on the t-shirt or on the sheet. It's kind of like a staple Gawx thing. I really like it when people think up new ways to show an image or incorporate an image into a video. Instead of just like, you know, because he could have just put it on screen, black surrounding, whatever, just bleh. But no, he's like, no, we want to bring it into an environment. And you know, I'm gonna sit in front of it and narrate whilst you see this image. It's cool. Which, by the way, is also quite a rare thing to see on YouTube. All of Gawx's audio is dubbed.
An absolute dream project which couldn't end here.
He is saying it here, but he's not using any of that audio in the edit. He's overdubbing it fresh in the edit. And we see this all over Gawx's videos.
And then, of course, I said Netflix, Amazon Prime.
I don't know why he does it. Maybe he hates dealing with audio equipment and camera equipment at the same time, and it was just a way of enjoying the filming process more without having to deal with all this audio stuff. Maybe he lives in a noisy area outside, so that's how it started. I'm not really sure exactly, but it's a unique style that helps him stand out on the platform. And you know where it came from? Him and his own creativity and the way that he wants to make films.
So today I'm going to tell you the story of this collection and how everything arose from a single theme. This is a story about clothes.
Okay, so this is like our title card section. You know, this is where we say, so with that said, I'm gonna do X. You know, this is a video about X. Not the social media platform. Just it's a crap name, innit? These pen shots
Arose from a
are probably shot on a macro lens. Dave very kindly gifted me this. This is, I think it's a 100mm macro. So it's a fixed focal length, but it just means you can focus really, really close. You get those really like close details, you know? But Gawx here, I don't know how he manages to make this look so sexy.
1, 2, 1, 2, ready, kick it.
clothing collection.
And we're in, right? I guess this is like our act 2. We've introduced the story, now this is what's happening. You know, this is the core of the story.
Clothing collections are just like music albums, and my favorites are always the ones which tell a story, the ones with a concept.
Okay, so remember at the start of the video when I was talking about the photos and the shirts? So what do you do? I talked about taking photos versus camera motion. This is like a similar thing with the shirts, but in this case, the shirts is the record player and there's camera motion. Sam, what the fuck are you saying? Okay, so the first part of this camera motion is the camera moving forward and tilting downwards as it does so. You could use a motion controlled gimbal that's on a C-stand on wheels to achieve this. Although I actually think it's more likely that Gawx used the standard tripod head on a C-stand to tilt back as the C-stand moved in. Okay, this probably isn't the most accurate setup. I feel like the head here is wrong. The camera is then locked off and just records the vinyl spinning. That's stage 1 of the shot over. You're probably then wondering, but Sam, how the f does the camera then roll to match the vinyl spin? Well, that leads us on to stage 2 of this shot. The camera actually doesn't roll at all. Ow. The camera's recording at a higher resolution, and then Gawx is just rotating a smaller frame that's matching the vinyl spin within that larger resolution. Then all that's left to do is to replace the vinyl a couple of times, and you've got matching shots that line up perfectly.
The black album is out.
I hate to say it, but actually I like to say it. It's a nice thing to say. All the lighting and cinematography, it's really nice. If you compare these shots to his earlier videos, you can see exactly how much he's upped his cinematography game. And you know how one does that? Practice and doing and courses.
Designs, the first one being our concept. So let's work on side A of the record and move forward with track number 2, the studio.
I think I'm a little bit jealous of this shot. This is like some fisheye, super wide shit. I really want one of these lenses. I may have bought one just for this video. You know, it's amazing just how many angles and different perspectives you can get out of one small space. Gawx really experiments with every inch of that space. I really like these shots.
Every single one of my artworks. So
Okay, see for not even a 2-second shot, he gets the haze machine out for it. Gawx is not lazy.
always it does. At the end, I had to go with the spot that inspires me the most.
This shot is probably another C-stand skateboard shot. To be honest, probably doing it on his own. One hand pushing the rig and the other hand picking up the photo. You do that on your own. You know, I feel like Gawx is too cool to cut exactly on the beat. It's too predictable, isn't it? Because, you know, I would probably be predictable and be like, bam, 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 you know, right on the beat or whatever it is. There's a few of them here, but then not too many. I respect it, and it works. Because the order of the clips works too. We've got this wide shot of him drawing, followed by a close-up, followed by a pen tracking shot, followed by a classic Apple ad style shot. For this shot, you rig the pen so it's attached to the camera in some way so that when you hold the camera, the pen is on the same, stuck to it, you know? Which links to both the previous shot and the next shot. It's a smooth sequence of clips because they work as stepping stones rather than just random jumpy clips.
That it was perfect. But now that I'm editing this video, I noticed that I made a rather embarrassing mistake.
I can't comment on every single clip, there's too many, and I've already been recording for... A little bit of character and a bit of a joke goes a really long way in a video.
But it's not too late to fix it, and it actually makes it more unique. So let's move forward with it.
Oh,
For track number...
I actually wouldn't mind if this, you know, in real life didn't quite play out how he's pitching it here. I mean, it might have, but I don't mind if it didn't. I feel like it's important that it did happen in the video. As I said, I think it helps break up all these sections. And it also helps us all relate more to Gawx. Because guess what? He makes mistakes as well. More on that in a minute. This text tracking thing,
My days are pretty much always the same.
it's pretty cool. I like it when people play with the fourth wall and stuff. So this is done in After Effects with a bunch of like motion tracking and blurring. I'm not gonna get into the weeds of how to do that because there's loads of tutorials on that, but just want to acknowledge, it's cool.
I wake up at 8 AM and grab some breakfast. Then I work for a couple of hours and hit the gym after work.
Guys, I've got to skip some now because this is gonna be like a 30-minute video otherwise. Maybe it could be a 30-minute video. No, too long. Well,
The city center to do our favorite hobby. We call it the Gawx pigeon watching.
okay, so we've got a nice bit of character here, again, to break up the artwork a little bit.
Oh, for God's sake, Gawx, can you at least try to make the movement smooth?
This effect where he's got himself on screen twice, this is actually pretty simple to do. You make sure you fully like lock the shot off. So you lock exposure, lock off the tripod, lock off the focus. Be careful with shadows so they don't overlap. You do your piece to camera and then you do your other piece to camera. And then you just stitch the two shots together.
Oh, nice t-shirt, Gawx.
Oh, thank
Actually see a little masking mistake there from Gawx. Does it matter? No. So I'm just trying to be clever, Gawx.
Number 8 is something we all have.
Okay, now this shot was
Fear.
probably done by shooting high res and quite a bit wider than what we see here, and then just keyframing the window across those two shots. But it could also be done on a repeatable motion slider head thingy. I don't think I've got one. The only thing we've got in here is like this beefy, big thing that's like really hard to set up. And I don't even know how to set it up, to be honest. But a little basic one would be quite good. I might get one. You'll see this from time to time in movies where two shots are merged together. But you can always tell because there's two different subjects in focus within one shot, which is impossible for a lens to do. So it has to be two shots come together. Just how fast the night changes.
There was only one more left to go. And it's a message to anyone who tries to put you down.
That's so bad. Honestly, I don't even know why you do. You should like just. Aren't you tired of always doing the same thing? I just hate it. You always do this.
Not your circus.
Okay, I've just seen this shot, which means it must be a programmable fluid head. Programmable. You can kind of see that sweeping motion. I don't actually think they're that expensive to get, these heads. A couple £100, maybe? Oh no, they are expensive. Oh no, the next section.
Collection by Gawx, made possible by the legends at Sheen.
Okay, Gawx, if you're watching this, I think you might be because you DM'd me. Maybe you clicked off the video, I don't know, maybe it got boring. I think we need to talk about Sheen. And this is just some friendly advice. I'm sure you've noticed the comments about Sheen in your videos and their questionable company policies. I think your audience would support you and probably be happy to pay a little bit more if you worked with a company that had better ethics. I think having a great community on YouTube is like so valuable. And you've done all this amazing work on your videos. But then like this video, your brand, it's like, I don't want to say that it could be like, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Because of that name. And you might not like me saying that. I don't like saying it either, to be honest. Out of the 3 people, like in real life, I've shown your video to, like not sent on the internet, but I've actually like, been with them when I showed you your video. Showed them your video. See, I'm nervous. Every one of them commented on Sheen when that company came up. They knew it was a bad name in the clothing world. Their brand now is bad labor practices. I don't really get why you would want to be attached to that. Gotta get out, dude. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's all fake news. But, tell us. Communicate it. Ow. Okay guys, thank you for watching. Check out Gawx's channel if you haven't already. This super talent, this guy, and what sounds like some sort of news show, doesn't it? I'm very excited to see where his creativity goes over the next, whatever, 4 years. It's changed so much in the last 4 years, it's like, where is this guy gonna go next? That's exciting to me, I'm excited to see. And that goes the same for you. What do the next 4 years look like for you? A ton of practice, learning, and doing. Remember to check out firedup if you haven't already. The next cohort is in January. You can sign up to like the waitlist email thing. And through the power of creativity, we are gonna make something great. All right guys, see ya, bye.